Hi, I'm Jenny Toth. This is my solo exhibit at Blue Mountain Gallery. The title of the show is Barking Up a Tree, Fur and Form. And I think of all these pieces as narrative sculptures that do deal primarily in form and composition and color and how things fit together. But each piece also tells an open-ended story. This piece is called El Chapito. It's based on a real parrot that I met and befriended in Mexico named El Chapo. Sadly, I don't like that name. That the owner didn't care for him much. I absolutely became attached to him and he became very attached to me, and I drew him for a few months and I based this sculpture on those studies. If you come close, you can notice that all of these works emerge people and animals in certain ways to talk about the connection we feel, and again, to have sort of these open-ended stories. And inside the bird, you can see hands are drawn inside of the bird, and on the outside as well. If you come around to the side, there's hands kind of supporting and holding and touching and caressing the bird here. And there's even a very faint um, hand print on top of the bird. So at first it looks like a more of a realistic study of a parrot, although of course the proportions are a little exaggerated. The tail is straight. It doesn't curl around in a real bird. It doesn't have talons that big. So some of the proportions are played with a little bit, but it comes across as a clear bird. And yet when you really kind of look inside and outside, you begin to see these ways that hands can interact with the girl. Okay, we're going to head over here. This piece is called Mother and Child. It is made in ceramic, this ceramic with flash ping on the outside. As you can see, it's a kind of a towering figure made of vessels that are all hollow. So there's a large leg that kind of has an open-ended place here, and these feeling of branches that sort of weave around it, press it. And the child here, and they have these kind of funny heads that are also hollow and have sort of fur and hair kind of coming out, and then the child here is sort of separated, so it has one leg here and another leg here, and uh and so the body's kind of split. But I love how it leans, and it has this kind of feeling of protection in the piece. Over here I have, this is in the middle because it really is called Barking Up the Tree. This is an abstraction called the tree merging with my pet dog Batman Sprinkles. If you come around to the sides of it, if on one hand, there's a piece here that becomes his face and his eye and his nose attached to what becomes a leg. But on the other side, it's actually bark that covers his head. Fur heads, sorry, Batman Sprinkles. And there's lots of fur that kind of comes out. And then there's a second version of her where she's peering out of the tree here. And if you look inside this piece, there's a drawn dog inside, and then this is the head that's emerging. There's actually an upside down woman that is then leaning her hand right here onto the bark, and she has another hand on the ground. So again, there's this merging of nature and animal and women in this piece. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about this piece. This is a little bit of a departure because it's a little more abstract, but it still has the feeling of a creature walking. You can sort of see a foot here and a foot here. But this is very much interested in more kind of a strange world where compositionally there's all these elements. So these poles become like bones, these rods, this becomes like a tie, and then these funny sort of balls that look like heads that are kind of talking to each other. It's based on a another sculpture I did out of cardboard and dowels and twine. So it came out of studying another sculpture, but I really like the way it's animated and kind of surprising and strange, and has a little bit of an animal feel to it as well. And lastly, I will talk about this one over here. We'll see in several pieces in the show, I use a lot of cardboard and even dryer lint and wire. This one uses a few different elements. It has air dry clay. There's lint that becomes part of the eyes of this creature and a little wire neck. I'm really interested in the tripods in these pieces and how they balance and work, but I also liked the idea of this sort of looming presence and a somewhat intimidated little guy over here that's responding. And there's yet sort of a weird humor as if it's got its hand on its hip with little polka dot stockings. but it's also a little bit menacing in this sort of wolf-like head with the eye. And on the other side, you can see them sort of the theme of the show. It is pressed into bark. So this is a beautiful glazed piece of ceramic where I pressed it against a tree and then glazed it with different colors. So they have this kind of element of responding to nature as well. And it's up until December 20th. And I will be here many days. So I'd love to talk to you about the pieces and explain them more. So come on by.
Just like any anomalies or anything. Like, there are some people who say, well, not that yeah. There's talk. And then sometimes it's not.
When she was doing wrong. It's not like it's like a dead bird. No, it's wrong.